Imagine this. You're standing in her kitchen at 1 a.m., staring at the blue glow of her phone as she laughs at a text you're not allowed to see. Your jaw tightens. She senses it, smirks, and says, "Relax, you're being insecure." You swallow the words because you're scared the moment you speak, you'll confirm what you fear most, that you care more than she does. That's the first trap. You're fighting for a feeling while she's testing for leverage. Attraction, in its raw biology, rewards the person who needs less. Not the colder person, not the meaner person, the person whose self-respect isn't on the bargaining table. If you don't control your own need for her approval, you hand her the steering wheel. She doesn't have to be cruel to take it. All she has to do is pull back, watch your anxiety spike, and let you sell your standards for a kiss of reassurance. You want science? Start here. Intermittent reinforcement wires your brain to chase uncertainty. The same mechanism that gets gamblers addicted keeps you refreshing messages. She replies big one day, then disappears the next, and your dopamine learns to worship the maybe. If you don't know this pattern, you'll mistake the thrill of pursuit for genuine compatibility. The fix isn't to demand constant attention. The fix is to anchor your emotions to behavior, not promises. When she pulls away, do not sprint forward. Shift to observational mode. Match her investment, not her words. If she gives you 30%, you give 30% back, or you give nothing at all. But you do not subsidize her apathy with your effort. Let's get even sharper. The moment you sense emotional manipulation, guilt-tripping, selective silence, baiting you with jealousy, stop trying to prove you're safe. Men think reassurance will calm the storm. In reality, it feeds it. What to look for? Accusations that don't match facts, sudden rules that only apply to you, tests framed as jokes, and withdrawal that arrives right after you show affection. Your response is not to blow up, not to lecture, not to write a 4-paragraph essay about your intentions. You say calmly, "I don't play those games. If you want to talk, talk. If not, I'll do my thing." Then you disengage. Phone down, plans kept, life intact. Notice, you didn't punish, you didn't chase, you didn't persuade. You let silence do what lectures never will. Withdrawal as control is a favorite tactic because it exploits a man's craving to fix. The cue is simple. Warmth, then freeze. Interest, then busy. The trap is thinking the freeze means you did something wrong. Often it means you did something right. You revealed value. And now she wants to see how much of it she can take without paying. Break it with indifference, not theatrics. If she flakes, you don't ask why. You reschedule once, weekly, and if she's vague again, you remove the offer entirely. Your words, "No worries. Hit me when you're actually free." Then you stop initiating. If she has real interest, she'll come forward with real effort. If she doesn't, you just saved yourself months of confusion and a dent in your self-worth. Overinvesting is the quickest way to become invisible. You think attention equals affection, but to someone testing for polarity, excess attention reads as lower status. Hold back? Yes, strategically. Not to manipulate, but to calibrate. Rule of thumb. For the first 3 weeks, match her pace. If she gives one text, you give one. If she asks a question, answer and ask one back. If she doesn't, don't fill dead air with paragraphs. When you plan dates, choose the time and place clearly, then drop the need for confirmation loops. Let's do Thursday, 7 p.m. at the cafe on 3rd. If not, we'll skip this week. That boundary forces clarity. If she's in, great. If she's vague, you don't debate. You exit. Now the cost. Every time you chase during withdrawal, you train your nervous system to equate love with scarcity, and you teach her that your center bends on command. You become a man who negotiates for his own respect, and once she sees that, she can't unsee it. That dull ache in your chest, it's the bill for not protecting your standards. The shift begins the moment you decide you'd rather lose her than lose yourself. You reduce words, increase observation, and let behavior tell you who you're dealing with. You stop escalating when she de-escalates. You cultivate options, not to play games, but to keep your nervous system from fixating on one source of validation. Detachment isn't coldness, it's clarity. It's the quiet power of a man who can enjoy a woman without outsourcing his self-esteem to her moods. You don't threaten to leave, you simply don't stay where your boundaries aren't respected. You're not auditioning for her approval, she's auditioning for a place in your already full life. And paradoxically, that's the science behind attraction. stability under pressure, selectivity under temptation, presence without attachment. Women are biologically tuned to read those signals. When you possess them, you won't need to advertise. Your actions will do the talking, and her behavior will reveal the truth. Have you ever noticed the exact moment her warmth turned to ice? How did you react? Which manipulation hit you hardest? Guilt trips, selective silence, or jealousy baiting? What would be the hardest part for you personally about matching her effort instead of chasing it? You think attraction is a mystery because you've been trained to read poetry while she's playing physics. Emotion is the poetry, behavior is the gravity. Here's the gravity. Novelty spikes dopamine, consistency builds trust, and scarcity creates focus. She'll feel an intense pull toward what is vivid, stable, and selective. Vivid means you bring energy and direction. Stable means your moods don't swing on her replies. Selective means you don't treat access to you like a public park. Every move you make either amplifies those signals or dilutes them. You don't have to be a rock star. You have to be a man whose time is expensive, whose standards are non-negotiable, and whose attention is not charity. That combination is rare, and rare is attractive. Let's dissect tests so you stop taking them personally. A test isn't an insult, it's a data request. She cancels late, throws a light jab at your ambition, flirts with a waiter, or hints that you're too into her. She's asking, do you wobble? Your old pattern was to plead your value or punish her with distance. Both prove you're emotionally fragile. The tactical response is calm containment. If the cancel is last minute and uncommon, you say, all good, I'll use the time. Let me know 2 weekdays next week that actually work. If she gives specifics, proceed. If she's vague twice, you close the tab. Let's skip it. Wish you the best. No lecture, no sulking, no third attempt. Your self-respect is the memo. Pre-selection matters because humans outsource judgment. When your life has visible demand, friends, projects, goals, women who enjoy your company, her brain registers that others have vetted you. But pre-selection is not parading women on your stories. It's the way you maintain a schedule she must fit into, not replace. Logistics are the silent language of value. You pick locations you already frequent. You set time windows that align with your routine. You leave at a set time even if the date is perfect. I'm heading at 9, early start tomorrow. That one sentence communicates you're not running on romance fumes. Paradox. Limiting time makes your presence feel richer. Scarcity creates recall. Overinvestment has a cousin. Over-disclosure. You think dumping your fears equals intimacy. Early on, it equals weight. Share selectively in proportion to earn trust. Give her a clear, grounded snapshot of your life. Mission, habits, non-negotiables, then return the spotlight. Ask layered questions that expose character, not just preferences. When did you last say no to someone you cared about? What do you do when plans fall apart? Listen for accountability versus blame, pattern versus exception. If her stories are a museum of villains and she's always the hero, you're previewing your future role as her next villain. Now the biochemistry trap you must spot. Love bombing creates a dopamine-oxytocin cocktail that fogs judgment. She mirrors your tastes, races intimacy, future talks by week 2, and frames you as different. The trap snaps when you attach before you test. Counterintuitive tactic. Slow the cadence, not the chemistry. Keep dates fun, physical space respectful, conversations textured, but cap frequency. Twice a week, max for the first month. Maintain your training, work, and social rhythms without compromise. If her attraction is healthy, it will endure friction. If it collapses when you stop mainlining attention, you dodged captivity disguised as connection. Withdrawal as control loves ambiguity. You neutralize it with clarity and optionality. When she goes quiet after momentum, you send one grounded ping after 48-72 hours. Good to see you the other night. I'm free Thursday 7 or Sunday 5. Your call. If she doesn't choose, you don't create new options. You vanish from the initiation role until she returns with specifics. If she returns days later with, "Sorry, crazy week," you reply, "No worries. Let's plan when your schedule settles." Then you do not plan. Make her do the next lift. Indifference isn't attitude, it's delegation of effort to the person who stalled momentum. For the man who struggles to hold back, use the 3-box rule: attention, affection, access. She earns them in that order, gradually. Early phase. Give attention, presence, curiosity, while keeping affection, physical escalation, verbal intensity, measured, and access to your time, home, resources, limited. As her consistency rises, you raise affection. As reliability hardens over weeks, you expand access. If she wobbles, you slide the boxes back without drama. People value what they earn. They waste what they're gifted too soon. Your voice matters most when it is least used. Replace paragraphs with policies. I don't argue over text. If plans change last minute, I usually reschedule the following week. I don't chase when energy drops. Policies prevent you from improvising under the heat of emotion, and nothing is more attractive than a man who refuses to bargain against his own rules. When conflict arrives, and it will, you don't escalate. You exit the loop. We see this differently. Let's talk after we cool off. Then you actually cool off. Absence is a teacher. The cost of ignoring all this is quiet decay. Your confidence leaks through 1,000 micro yeses you don't mean. Your schedule fills with her maybes. Your purpose gets negotiated down. And the worst part isn't losing her. It's losing the version of you that handled pressure with grace. The shift happens the first time you enforce a boundary and feel the surge of self-respect outrank the fear of losing her. That's not game. That's adulthood. When was the last time you enforced a boundary and watched her either rise to meet it or walk away? Which policy do you need most right now? No arguing by text, capped date frequency, or rescheduling after flakes. What pattern in yourself are you most tempted to excuse, and what would happen if you stopped today? Some women will never say this out loud, but they measure you by the weight of your no. Your yes is easy. Anyone can agree when it feels good. Your no reveals your center. A man without a no is a man without gravity. He floats wherever her mood blows, and she'll unconsciously lose respect, even if she likes his face. Here's the practical cut. Decide your 3 non-negotiables before you see her again. Maybe it's punctuality, respectful tone, and no late-night ambiguity texting. When one of those lines is crossed, you don't explode. You simply withdraw privileges. If she's late without notice, you keep the date short or move it. We'll make this a quick coffee. I'm on a schedule. If the tone gets disrespectful, you end the conversation. We can pick this up when it's constructive. This isn't performance, it's maintenance. You're preserving the conditions under which attraction can actually grow. Now to texting, the modern battlefield. Text is for logistics and lightness. It is not your therapist's couch. Keep messages crisp, specific, and forward-moving. If she's engaging, match pace, but avoid ping-ponging your day away. Use the 2-message rule. If you've sent 2 messages without a clear response, stop. No third essays. No meme bombardment. If she circles back, good. If not, your life continues. When her replies become dry, single words, hours late, no questions, you don't interrogate her energy. You mirror investment. Let the thread cool and invite in person. Free Thursday at 7. If not, we'll try next week. If she can't choose, you close the loop. All good. Hit me when you're sure. Silence can be respect when it protects your time. Jealousy bait is a classic lever. She mentions a friend who slept over on a couch years ago or teases you about other men who won't stop DMing her. The inexperienced man corrects, competes, or complains. The calibrated man treats it like spam. You smile, change the channel, or give a neutral shrug and pivot. Cool. What are you reading right now? If she insists, you mark it. I don't do third-party drama. If you want me, act like it. If you don't, I'm good. Then you relax back into your frame. The point is not to punish, it's to refuse the role of dance partner in insecurity theater. Understand polarity. Your grounded direction meets her responsive energy. Direction is not dictatorship. It's decisiveness with flexibility. You propose, let's grab tacos at 7, then a walk by the river after. If she counters with a constraint, I can do 6:30 and I prefer the cafe near me, you adapt once if it fits your life. After that, you stop re-engineering everything to accommodate. Chronic rearrangement communicates you have nothing more important than her momentary convenience. A man with purpose communicates through his calendar. Screen with questions that surface values under stress. What did your last disagreement teach you about yourself? If a friend disrespects your boundary twice, what's your move? Listen for coherence between words and actions. If she claims she hates drama, but every story is scorched earth, believe the pattern, not the slogan. Your job isn't to diagnose, it's to decide. Escalation should be attuned, not rushed. Strong men don't push, they pace. You track reciprocity. Does she lean in, touch back, ask personal questions, seek proximity? If yes, escalate gradually and check in without killing the vibe. I want to kiss you. That sentence signals intent and respect. If she hesitates, you step back with ease. No rush. We're good. Pressure kills attraction because it broadcasts scarcity. This has to happen, or I lose. Ease says, this will happen if we both want it, and if not, the night is still great. Consent isn't a legal checkbox, it's the art of presence. When conflict hits, drop into triage. First, problem definition in one sentence. We're clashing because of last-minute plan changes. Second, your standard. I plan a week out and rarely move it same day. Third, a path forward. If you confirm by Wednesday, I'll book it. If plans are uncertain, we skip. Short, simple, enforceable. If she escalates with blame or theatrics, end the round. Let's pause. We're not solving anything heated. Then you actually do something else. Men lose leverage by lingering in emotional firefights that can't be won. Space restores signal. Beware sunk cost attachment. Time invested does not equal value returned. If the data says inconsistent, disrespectful, or manipulative, you exit. Not with a dissertation. Exits gather power from brevity. We're not a good fit. Wishing you the best. No post-game analysis. No reopening the file because loneliness pings you at 11 p.m. You're training your future self to believe your own boundaries. If she returns with apologies, you don't get back together. You test. Glad you reached out. If we try again, here's how I roll. Confirm plans 24 hours ahead. Respectful tone, no disappearing acts. If that works, cool. If not, all good. Then watch actions for 4 weeks. Words are a pilot, habits are the aircraft. Your body is part of the science. Lift heavy 3 times a week, walk daily, sleep like it's a paycheck. Not to impress her, though it will, but to regulate your nervous system. A regulated man texts less compulsively, speaks slower, and negotiates better. Purpose compounds this regulation. When your life is built around a mission you'd pursue alone, women become a beautiful addition, not an existential need. That shift, want over need, is the purest signal of masculine abundance. Now look at your last situation. Where did your no collapse into a maybe? Which bait did you bite? Jealousy, ambiguity, or urgency? If you wrote your 3 non-negotiables tonight, what would change tomorrow morning? You keep thinking you need the perfect line. You don't. You need a system. Systems beat moods. Start with the 2-offer window. When you invite her out, you offer exactly 2 concrete options inside your existing routine. Thursday 7 or Sunday 5. The same venues you'd choose for yourself anyway. If she counters decisively, you proceed. If she floats sometime next week or I'll let you know, you don't plug in more dates like a vending machine. You close the window. Cool. Ping me when you're sure. Then you go live your life. Why it works. Commitment grows when choices narrow. Attraction grows when you stop volunteering endless access. You're teaching her nervous system that connection with you requires clarity, not charity. Modern dating weaponizes the feed. Stories, likes, and cryptic captions are tiny hooks designed to pull you out of frame. The tactical fix is media hygiene. Unfollow the breadcrumb trail. If you're early with someone, mute her stories for 30 days. You're not punishing. You're protecting your focus from engineered scarcity. When you don't see her highlight reel, you stop auditioning for an invisible panel. If she notices and asks, you tell the truth. I don't monitor people. If we're on, we're on. If we're off, we're off. That line communicates a rare thing online. A man immune to ambient validation games. Spot the compliance micro-tests. She shows up, glances at the menu, and says, you decide. Pass. You choose with calm authority. Or she delays ordering until you do because she wants to feel your direction. You don't freeze. You order your drink, confirm hers, and keep the conversation moving. Later she says, let's see if you can keep up with me, with a playful edge that masks an escalation test. Don't perform. Smile and pivot to something specific. I'll keep up on the trail this weekend. Favorite hike within an hour? Direction beats dazzle. You're not trying to win a contest. You're establishing rhythm. Conflict will tempt you into performance. The skill is to hold tension without theatrics. Use the one-sentence mirror. Reflect her feeling in one clean line, then return to the boundary. You're frustrated I didn't text back during my meeting. I don't text during work. No defense pile, no evidence dump. If she pushes, repeat once. I hear you. I don't text during work. Then move to logistics or change topics. You're demonstrating that your boundaries are not debate clubs, they're operating conditions. The man who can repeat himself calmly twice will outlast the storm without raising his voice. Overinvestment has another disguise: premature rescue. She hints at crises to see if you'll become on-call hero. Early stage, you don't become a firefighter for a house you don't live in. You can be kind without being captive. That sounds tough. I hope it eases up. I'm around Thursday if you want a break. You keep your schedule intact. If she respects it, interest realigns with reality. If she weaponizes distress to reel you in and drops you after, pattern confirmed. Your job is not to rescue, it's to reveal. Date design matters. Stop improvising in places where you have no leverage. Choose venues where you already know the staff, the vibe, the exit. Sit at a bar corner where you can angle your body and watch the room. Moving through space smoothly signals competence. Keep date 1 under 90 minutes, leave while energy is high. You're not bailing, you're ending on the beat, so both of you associate your presence with momentum, not drag. If she pushes to extend but you have an early morning, you smile. I want to, but I keep my mornings clean. We'll pick it up. That's attractive because it says future with you has structure, not chaos. Notice the internal cost when you deviate. When you flood her phone after a cold patch, your chest knots, sleep fractures, work slips. These are invoices from your nervous system. Pay them with discipline. Set a 24-hour rule for emotional spikes. You don't send the paragraph, you don't make the grand gesture, you don't issue the ultimatum for a full day. If it still matters after you've lifted, eaten, slept, and worked, then address it in person. Most storms die in the night when they can't feed on your immediate reaction. There's a difference between being selective and being guarded. Guarded men hide and call it standards. Selective men reveal gradually and call it pacing. Share a slice of your mission early, what you're building and why it matters, then invite her into the rhythm without rearranging it. Tuesdays and Thursdays I'm offline after 8 for training. Weekend mornings are for writing. I make space for people who bring steady energy. That statement educates her on your ecosystem. Women who are ready for a man will align. Women who crave chaos will bail. Either outcome serves you. Withdrawal as control crumbles when you refuse to diagnose it. You don't ask, "Are you mad?" You wait for information. If she resurfaces with warmth and plans, you meet her there. If she resurfaces with breadcrumbs, you smile and do nothing. If she resurfaces with a test, "I thought you'd try harder," you give her the truth. "I try where there's traction." Then you stop talking. Silence is the final sentence of a man who knows his value. The ones who want to stay will step toward you. The ones who want you spinning will look for a man with looser standards. Detachment at its peak isn't numbness, it's gratitude that frees you from bargaining. You can appreciate her charm, beauty, and spark and still walk if the data is bad. You can love someone and love yourself more. That isn't cruelty, it's hierarchy. And women feel that hierarchy the way you feel gravity. If she can't move you from your purpose, she can join you. If she can't join you, she'll leave you. Think both outcomes. Think back to your last date. Where did you perform instead of lead, negotiate instead of state, chase instead of close the window? Which digital habits need a cut? Muting, unfollowing, time boxes. If you ran the 2-offer window and the 24-hour rule this week, what would change by Friday? You want the science that carries past the first 3 dates? Start with attachment dynamics and power-to-care ratios. Anxious energy chases, avoidant energy withdraws, secure energy observes. Your goal isn't to cosplay secure, it's to operate like a scientist in your own life. Collect data across weeks, consistency, accountability, warmth under stress. If the pattern is hot-cold, you don't argue with the spikes. You measure them and price them in. Action step. Set a 30-day evaluation window. During that time, you run your system. 2-offer window, 3-box rule, capped frequency, clear policies. On day 30, you ask yourself 3 questions. Has consistency risen or fallen? Do disagreements return to baseline quickly? Is initiative shared? If you can't say yes to at least 2, you downgrade access. Not with a speech, with scheduling. You trim availability and redirect energy to mission and friends. Attraction respects reallocation. Exclusivity talk is a classic pressure point. Many men fumble it by angling for security or dodging the conversation altogether. Your move is poised clarity. If she brings it up early, you acknowledge desire without surrendering pace. I'm enjoying this and I don't rush labels. I choose exclusivity when consistency is proven and logistics make sense for both of us. Then you keep dating like a man with options, because you are one. If she tries to force it with ultimatums or jealousy games, you don't debate. You offer conditions. If we go exclusive, it includes reliability, respectful conflict, and aligned schedules. If that's not where you are, we keep it casual or part ways. Notice the format. Terms, not pleadings. You're not bargaining for safety, you're setting standards for structure. Sexual boundaries are part of the science because intimacy amplifies whatever dynamic you've built. Consent must be enthusiastic and ongoing. Attraction thrives in safety, but safety isn't the same as lenience. You calibrate escalation to bidirectional cues and protect polarity by maintaining direction. If mixed signals appear, kissing is hot, then ice cold, then hot again, you don't pressure, and you also don't linger in limbo. You slow cadence and move the focus to public, activity-based dates. If the pattern persists, you voice it once. The push-pull isn't working for me. If you want to keep this going, let's keep it steady or call it. Then you stop managing her feelings. Adults self-regulate. You're not her regulator. Reputation is silent leverage. In a chaotic market of flaky dates and curated feeds, the man known for few words and reliable follow-through becomes memorable. Act like the city is small. Staff remember you, friends vouch for you, exes don't have horror stories because you exit clean. That means no triangulation, no public shade, and no breadcrumbing old flames for ego snacks. You're not trying to look noble, you're eliminating friction. Women read your ecosystem like a resume. A tidy trail says, "This man leads cleanly, finishes cleanly, and leaves places better than he found them." That's attraction disguised as character. Conflict is where most men leak power. You're trained to either appease or attack. Try containment and consequence instead. When she escalates, raises voice, name calls, drags past issues into present, your script is short. I don't do disrespect. We can try again when we're calm. Then you remove access for a defined period and actually live your life. If she returns with repair energy, specific accountability, changed behavior, you meet it with warmth and a smaller window of access. If she returns with blame and zero change, you reduce the cycle count. 3 strikes to 1. The goal isn't punishment. It's a living contract with yourself that drama costs time, and time is your currency. Deep screening questions save months. When you're stressed, do you seek closeness or space? How do you prefer to repair after conflict? What does a no from you look like? Ask early, listen for concrete examples, and watch for alignment between her stated style and actual behavior. If she claims to prefer clarity but lives in ambiguity, believe the data. Your attraction is allowed to be selective. You can enjoy chemistry and still deny the promotion to girlfriend. Men ruin their lives by elevating spark over structure. If you're already entangled and trying to rebalance, use the reset week. You give a heads up. I'm heads down on work this week. Limited phone, focused schedule, let's touch base Friday. Then you actually do it. Train, work, sleep, see friends, and remove the romantic feedback loop for 7 days. She will either fill the space with effort or reveal her reliance on your pursuit. On Friday, you evaluate. If she stepped up with specifics, you re-engage with measured warmth. If she used the gap to bait jealousy or punish with silence, you step down access another notch. The nervous system learns quickest when policy becomes felt experience. The inner science is non-negotiable. Breathwork before dates, lifts that make you sweat, sunlight in the morning, hard stops on screens at night. These aren't biohacks, they're boundary fuel. A regulated body makes it easy to keep messages short, pauses long, and decisions firm. Purpose then locks the system. Schedule the anchors first. Work blocks, training, family, building. Dates fill the margins, not the center. The man whose day is full of meaningful commitments is naturally scarce. He doesn't have to fake indifference. His absence lectures. His presence rewards. Final piece for this phase. Practice letting good moments end untouched. When a date lands perfectly, resist the urge to squeeze one more hour, one more kiss, one more promise. You pay tomorrow with regression when you overshoot today. Leave on the high note you want associated with your name. That memory keeps doors open. That discipline keeps you in control. You're not hoarding experiences, you're crafting a trajectory. When was the last time you priced the relationship with data instead of hope? If you ran a 30-day evaluation starting tonight, what criteria would you track, and what would you likely discover? When exclusivity pressure hits, do you set terms calmly or grasp for reassurance and call it love? Here is the quiet truth that ends the chaos. The most attractive man is the one who can walk away, not as a stunt, not as a punishment, but as a natural expression of standards that don't bend. You don't announce it, you live it. You don't argue for your boundaries, you verify them with action. And paradoxically, that's when women lean in, because your center is not for sale. Detachment is not indifference toward her, it's allegiance to yourself. It's the feeling of sitting across from her, enjoying the way she laughs, the way her eyes spark when she's playful, and still knowing that if she flips to tests, contempt, or chaos, you'll finish your drink, pay your part, and leave with your day intact. That calm triggers a different response in her nervous system. You're not another man auditioning, you're a man evaluating. That's the gravity she can feel even when you're silent. If you've lived your life negotiating for crumbs, detachment begins with a ritual of reclamation. Audit your week and find the places you leak power. Late night scrolling, reactive texting, rearranging your schedule for someone who treats you like a recess option. Replace them with anchors you won't trade. 3 training sessions, 2 deep work blocks daily, 1 evening with people who challenge and sharpen you. Not because self-improvement gets the girl, but because stability in your body and calendar turns your attention from a thirst into a choice. The man who is nourished in his own life is immune to scarcity plays. When a woman pulls, he doesn't sprint. When she pauses, he doesn't beg. He observes. If the data realigns, he proceeds. If it doesn't, he exits. The more you practice this cycle, the more your nervous system learns that loss is survivable and dignity is addictive. Carry this into dates like a craftsman, not a gambler. You show up clean, present, directional. You don't over-explain. You don't perform. You place offers on the table and let her either meet them or reveal her readiness. Thursday at 7, tacos then a walk. If she's there with warmth, you lead the night with ease. If she tests, you don't retaliate. You redirect or reduce access. If she flakes twice, you close the tab without resentment. Detachment keeps your heart free of scorekeeping because you didn't overextend. You gave only what was earned. The math stays fair. In relationships, detachment matures into stewardship. You're not controlling, you're curating the environment where love stays alive. That means clarity in roles, predictability in plans, and repair that has structure. You don't accept circular fights. You insist on one-topic conflicts, time-boxed with outcomes. You don't do breakups as threats. You do breaks as diagnostics. We're looping. Let's take a week, no contact. If we return with a plan. That policy alone filters partners who want passion without discipline. A woman who is worthy of your commitment doesn't fear your detachment. She relies on it because it's the proof you'll protect both of you from the worst impulses of the moment. Detachment also frees you from the museum of your past. You stop carrying old rejections like religious relics. You stop chasing apologies you'll never get. You cut the string on conversations that should have ended months ago. That cut is not cruelty, it's mercy for your future. Every time you close a door cleanly, you sharpen your yes. You become precise with the kind of energy you invite. Women who are warm, consistent, accountable. Women who can hear a boundary and thank you for it. Women who prefer the safety of structure to the thrill of chaos. You won't attract everyone, and that's the point. Broad nets catch debris. Precise nets catch dinner. You wanted science. Here's the ending formula. Attachment systems read behavior, not speeches. Your nervous system stabilizes with routine, not romance. Her attraction calibrates to your selectivity and follow-through, not your slogans. You can game the first date with lines. You cannot game 6 months with inconsistency. So make your life the message. Keep your phone boring and your schedule rich. Keep your posture open and your decisions firm. Keep your words short and your rules long-lived. Discipline is erotic when it's paired with warmth. Warmth without discipline becomes need. Discipline without warmth becomes stone. Stand between the two like a lighthouse, steady, human, visible from a distance. If you're entangled right now, give yourself the gift of final clarity. Define the standard in one page: how you communicate, how you schedule, how you repair, what you don't tolerate. Send nothing. Speak little. Live it for 30 days. Watch her response. If she rises, meet her with softness and leadership. If she resents, weaponizes silence, or punishes your standards, end it with respect. You don't owe a dissertation. We want different things. I'm stepping away. Then shut the door and keep walking. Your lungs will burn for a week, then your chest will feel lighter, then you'll notice your work deepens and your sleep improves and your smile arrives unforced. That's the body saying, "Thanks for finally choosing me." In the end, the only real power is self-respect. Not the loud kind that posts quotes, the quiet kind that leaves when it's no longer honored. The world will call it cold until they experience it up close and realize its warmth protected by borders. Women will test it, admire it, and, if they're ready, relax into it, because it means their femininity will not be mined for drama, but invited into order. And you, after the noise fades, you'll discover something better than being liked. Being trustworthy to yourself. That is the science and the art. That is how attraction becomes inevitable instead of accidental. And that is how you step into the version of you who never sells his center again. She didn't break you. She revealed what you were too afraid to protect.